Have you ever been in a situation where everyone around you thinks you're weak, a pushover, simply because you don't react the way they expect? People see your silence and mistake it for surrender. But what if that silence is actually a weapon? What if it's the calm before a perfectly orchestrated storm? This is the story of Mark, a man who everyone, including his own wife, underestimated. Mark and Sarah had what looked like the perfect marriage. From the outside, they were the couple everyone envied. They lived in a beautiful house, had successful careers, and posted smiling photos from their vacations. But beneath that glossy surface, cracks were beginning to show. It started subtly. Sarah began working late more often. Her phone was always face down, and she'd become distant, almost like a polite stranger living in his house. Mark felt it, a cold knot tightening in his gut every time she'd say, "It's just work, you're overthinking it." His friends noticed the change, too. "Man, she's walking all over you," one of them said over a beer. "You need to put your foot down." They saw his quiet demeanor, his lack of confrontation, and labeled it weakness. They didn't see the gears turning in his head. Mark wasn't blind, he was observing. He saw the new, expensive perfume she wore, the hushed phone calls she took in the other room, the way her eyes lit up when a text came through, a light that hadn't shone for him in a very long time. One evening, he followed a gut feeling. He checked their shared phone records, something he'd never felt the need to do in their entire 10-year marriage. There it was. A single number. Called and texted dozens of times a day, every day, for the past 3 months. His heart hammered against his ribs, but his face remained a mask of calm. He didn't storm into the living room and demand an explanation. He didn't throw things or scream. He just observed. He knew a confrontation would only lead to more lies. No, if he was going to act, he needed undeniable proof. He needed a plan. This is where Mark's weakness became his greatest strength. While Sarah believed he was oblivious, he was quietly gathering evidence. He installed a small, discreet recording device in her car. He logged into their joint bank account and saw the frequent charges from fancy restaurants and hotels, places they hadn't been to together. Each piece of evidence was a brick in the wall he was building, not to keep her out, but to secure his own future. His silence wasn't inaction. It was strategy. He let her believe he was the same old, predictable Mark, while he was methodically deconstructing the life she thought she was so cleverly hiding. The breaking point, or what should have been the breaking point, came during their anniversary dinner. Sarah was more interested in her phone than in him. She smiled, but her eyes were vacant. Mark watched her, and for the first time in months, he didn't feel pain. He felt a strange sense of clarity. He knew exactly what he was dealing with. He knew she was texting the other man, probably arranging their next meeting. Anyone else would have flipped the table. But Mark just raised his glass. "To 10 years, he said, with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "May the next 10 be even more enlightening." Sarah just smiled back, completely missing the double meaning. His silence was deafening, but only he could hear it. The next day was a Saturday. Sarah said she was going on a girls' spa day. It was the lie that sealed her fate. Mark knew from a saved receipt that she was actually meeting her affair partner at a boutique hotel downtown. While she was gone, Mark didn't sit at home feeling sorry for himself. He called a lawyer. He laid out all the evidence he had collected. The phone records, the bank statements, the audio recordings from her car, where she openly discussed her affair, and more damningly her plans to take Mark for everything he had in a divorce. The lawyer's eyes widened. "This is comprehensive," she said. "She won't know what hit her." When Sarah returned that evening, glowing and relaxed, she found Mark sitting calmly in the living room. But something was different. The house was empty. The paintings were off the walls, the furniture was gone, and boxes were stacked neatly against one wall. Her eyes widened in panic. "Mark, what's going on? Where is everything?" Mark finally broke his silence. His voice was steady, devoid of the anger she expected. It was something far more terrifying. Indifference. "I know, Sarah," he said simply. "I know everything." He gestured to a single envelope on the coffee table. "Those are divorce papers. My lawyer will be in touch with yours. All of our joint assets have been frozen, based on the evidence of your extracurricular activities." Her face went from confusion to denial, then to pure, unadulterated panic. "What evidence? You don't have any proof," she stammered. Mark just gave a small, sad smile. "Your mistake wasn't cheating on me, Sarah. Your mistake was thinking I was too weak to do anything about it. You mistook my patience for ignorance." He stood up, picked up his single suitcase, and walked toward the door. "The house is being sold. You have 30 days to vacate. Goodbye, Sarah." He walked out the door and never looked back. There was no shouting, no dramatic breakdown, just the quiet, decisive end to a chapter built on lies. His friends, the ones who called him weak, were stunned when they heard the story. They finally understood. Mark's strength wasn't in loud confrontations or angry outbursts. It was in his quiet resolve, his strategic patience, and his unwavering self-respect. He showed everyone that true strength isn't about how loudly you can roar, but how calmly you can dismantle a world that was meant to break you. His silence wasn't weakness. It was the most powerful statement he could ever make. So the next time you see someone being quiet in the face of a storm, don't be so quick to judge. They might not be surrendering. They might just be reloading. They might be proving that silence, when wielded with intelligence and purpose, speaks volumes. Thank you so much for watching. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next video. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one.